Group.com.au. Lanco Group, your business partner for engineering solutions.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants, and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website dkpco.com.au or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
Presented by Simonds. It's the Green Room on FNR, Football Nation Radio. Oh, I don't know if the local news agency next to the hangar stocks such gift cards, but I think there should be some sort of gesture made towards Nikolai Topor-Stanley by his teammates this weekend, because that is a major milestone to hit. 359 A-League games, the longest-serving A-League player of all time, breaking the record of another Western United great, Andrew Durante. We're here to celebrate that here on the return of the Green Room on FNR Football Nation Radio. I'm Josh Parrish. I've got Lockie Flanagan with me as always. How are you, Lockie?
I'm excellent. I mean, it's great to have the show back. I obviously spent the last 2 weeks kicking my feet up, and no, I didn't do that. I went to every single A-League men's, A-League women's and NPL fixture that I could get my hands on, including Western United's game against Melbourne Victory last week. And
if they could stop scheduling games on Wednesday nights when the Green Room's supposed to be on, that would be great. But unfortunately, this is the situation that the league is in. So it's just football all the time.
Look, I'm either talking about Western United here or I'm at the midweek Wednesday fixture. So I'm okay either way. I'm sure the fans are as well. But if they are looking for a gift card, luckily I do actually in South Yarra have around the corner a 359th game gift card shop exclusively.
Oh, okay.
So
good.
Yeah, I invested big on that one and glad to see that it's finally paying off. That is a massive relief.
It's like when you have a very specific birthday for someone, you have to like cross out the 60 and make it a 68.
Well, the business was initially formed around Andrew Durante breaking the game's record, so that a lot of the cards are scribbled over, and I've changed the last number, but NTS, Western United, I'm happy to fulfill any order demands that you need.
What a legend of the league. He's going to be joining us a little bit later on, but there's been a pretty exciting bit of breaking news in Western United land over the last week, so we better address that first. That's the regional football facility in Tarneit, which has turned soil. So to tell us more about that, we've got the GM of Football Operations, Mal Impiombato, standing by on the Zoom call. Mal, thanks for making the time.
Thanks, gentlemen. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure, mate. Major announcement during the week. We saw the posing with the shovel and so forth. Members of local council, the chairman of the club there. Very excited faces all around. Tell us, just how significant is this announcement? As Mal freezes on the Zoom call in an inopportune moment. There he is.
The real master of suspense. Such a big announcement that I just hold that pause.
Have we got you, Mal?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly, actually.
All right, lovely. Just how significant an announcement is this for the club?
Yeah, quite a significant announcement for the club. Obviously, it's a big part of the project of the Western Melbourne group, and to be able to obviously turn soil, it's been a fantastic milestone for the football club. I guess a long journey that's been stunted by, I guess, a pandemic in the short term. So obviously, there's not many clubs that have started during a pandemic, let me tell you that. So it's been a significant challenge, but at the same time, I guess a great reward for the football club and all the hard work that our chairman, our board, our CEO and Chris Frangos, who's been leading the facilities project, to be able to get this underway with the City of Wyndham and the Wyndham City Council is a fantastic outcome for our football club.
Yeah, well, it is, as you said, a product of massive work from a lot of important people and having dealt with a lot of huge challenges as well. Now, Josh and I have read the release and studied the tape and injected all the information about the latest updates on the stadium into our veins and the area around it. But for those of the Western United fans who might have missed what's come out of the club and all those specific details, can you tell us a little bit about what kind of facilities and amenities we can expect to see in this opening phase?
Yeah, it's a facility that's going to cater for up to 5,000 spectators as a starting point, which is, I guess, a great starting point for us as a club to call home. I think that's probably something that we've been screaming out for in the first 3 years of our existence, is an opportunity to have a facility in our heartland and in our catchment area that we can call home, and this provides us with that opportunity. So the facility in itself will have 3 pitches, of which 2 will be grass pitches, 1 will be a synthetic, and allows us to obviously have the facilities and amenities to host matches in potentially what is hopefully our W League and A League women's side, our FFA Cup matches, our NPL matches, as well as the opportunity to build, I guess, on top of or add infrastructure to potentially house A-League men's matches as well. So the facilities and infrastructure underneath the main stadium allows for change rooms and facilities and amenities to cater for both matches and also training for boys and girls, men's and women's. So it gives us a chance to provide, I guess, an opportunity for every boy and every girl in the West to have a home where they can play their football in our heartland, and an opportunity for us to actually call a place home for the first time in the first 3 seasons, which is something that we've certainly been looking forward to.
Well, Mal, you absolutely hit it on the head there, really, because that's exactly what I was going to ask you about, the potential to have at that new grandstand and the area surrounding, the chance to have the academy, the women's setup and the senior side potentially playing games there. As you know, someone in your role as the sort of GM of football, you know, you're focusing on all those different sides within the club. It must be pleasing for you, someone who does specifically what you do, to be able to have them potentially all in the same tent.
Yeah. To be able to walk in into a facility where you see your men's, your women's, your boys and your girls all in the same facility, that'll be something that we're certainly looking forward to, because as an aspirational player, you've all played the game, to be able to go to training and see those people in the roles in the A-League women's and the A-League men's space, and to aspire and be in the same facility as those men and women, it gives them a real aspirational goal that they can aspire to, with obviously them being in the forefront of the facility. And it's great that we can obviously house that. We're great that we'll be able to facilitate all of those teams into one place. And I think it's just a great opportunity for us to really build that home and that fortress that we're going to create in that precinct. And obviously this is just the first step of the part of the precinct, and it's a great start for us. But it's obviously one part of a larger puzzle, which hopefully brings us to the ultimate project, which when that does come to fruition, we're certainly going to be, I think, the leaders in not only the A-League space, but also in Australian sport once that is completed.
Well, if people haven't seen the renders for it, they're actually really exciting, and I was quite impressed with the ingenious design of the whole thing, the efficiency of the whole thing, because it's this 2-story building that's going to be, you know, the office, the gym, all of the indoor facilities for the club, and then as part of that building, it sort of backs onto this sloped grandstand, which is a really cool design, and I think is a real space saver in this precinct that you're developing.
Yeah, no doubt. I think those who designed the facility have certainly taken that into consideration and really making it something that feels like a fortress and a home and a difficult place for opposition clubs to come to. And that's certainly what we would like from a football sense, but a place that we can also call home, and obviously a place that we can make it a real cauldron for our fans when they get to come to their one venue that they come to each year. At the moment, we're making it probably a little bit difficult for our fans who have been fantastic in travelling with us across the nation to ensure that they're obviously coming to our home matches. But we now get to bring that to a home in their heartland, in our catchment area. So this is a facility that will cater for not only, I guess, us from a football sense, but also our fans and our community.
Speaking of, I guess, the trials and tribulations that the club has gone through, you've been in this role for just over 18 months now, I believe. What's been the journey to get to this point with this facility finally turning soil and starting construction?
Yeah, there's no doubt been a lot of hard work, like we mentioned earlier in the piece, around obviously getting to this point. I think, as we mentioned earlier as well, no doubt the pandemic has played a significant part in stop-starting this particular project. The fact that we can get it underway in 2022 is a testament to all the hard work that a number of people have put in to get to this point. And like I said, it's one part of the puzzle, but it's an important part, especially from a football sense. We're quite fortunate to be able to be in the place where we are now at the Hangar. The facilities that we have are fantastic and second to none for a professional and elite sporting team. But to be able to go back to a place that you can call home and branded black, green, and it's Western United and it's home, I don't think you can obviously replicate anything like that. So from that end, that'll be something that we're certainly looking forward to.
Yeah, to have a permanent fixture right in the heart of that catchment area. I think that's something that doesn't just excite Western United fans who are watching this show, but I think it would excite fans of probably any club in the league to have that permanent piece of infrastructure. But Mal, I want to drill a little bit further down into your role as obviously general manager of football, and you sort of mentioned a little bit about the challenges that the pandemic and those sort of things have thrown up in the development of the stadium, but it's also had a pretty big impact on the actual A-League men's season itself because, games have been, flying around left, right and centre, moved into new places. It's had to be a time where, operational stuff like yourself have had to be very agile. How have you and your team managed this sort of hectic A-League men's campaign that's been thrown up at you?
Yeah, it certainly has been hectic for many reasons, and it impacts everyone across the board. I think one of the first things and what's enabled us to adapt best this season is once we came into pre-season, we sat down with the playing group and the football staff, and we weren't going to shy away from the back end of last season where we really probably struggled when things did go a little pear-shaped because of COVID, and we really didn't adapt that well. I guess one of the first things we wanted to change at our football club was the ability to remove the no excuses policy that we wanted to implement here as part of our cultural shift and change. And that was something that we addressed with John and the broader group from day one when we entered pre-season. We spoke to the club, we spoke to the players, and the coaching staff, and we all agreed that we knew that there were going to be some changes and there were going to be some impacts on our fixture and the calendar this year. But we said we would adapt and we would not use any excuse to obviously impact our performance. And credit to our football department and our staff and our players. They've certainly taken that on board and driven that message throughout the course of the season. And I think that's really held us in good stead. It's really held us in good stead in respect to the fact that we've started really well. We've adapted to change really well. And our guys have been fantastic, led by our captain and our vice captain, but also driven by our head coach and the broader football department. So I think the cultural shift and change in trying to make no excuses has really had an impact. It allowed us to obviously perform at the highest level, hopefully go a little further than that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what stood out to me has been, I guess, the mental strength that the players have shown this season in a really testing environment at times. There have been certain results that have been ground out this year under testing conditions with players unavailable and so forth, that I don't know that the club would have been able to hold on to in previous years. It seems like, every player we speak to talks about how tightly knit the group is and how positive everybody is. And I guess that comes back to the what you spoke about earlier about the resilience and not using anything as an excuse.
Yeah, we've got a really strong group in respect to the fact that they really buy into our team culture and team charter that we've created. We have a team charter that we basically send around to every new player that comes to this football club, and they really understand the values, beliefs, and behaviours that we'd expect from Western United Football Club employees. Everyone has really bought into that, and we expect our football staff and our leaders to drive that. And they have been fantastic in doing so. So I think that certainly goes hand in hand in respect to understanding the results that we've been able to, hold on to this year.
Just a bit of a patchy Zoom call, unfortunately. It's so annoying because he was getting us some really interesting territory there, a team charter.
Yeah, I have not heard of anything.
We've got a resilient group. We've held out a number of 1-0 results and... Sorry, gents, is that cutting out, is it?
Yeah, just a little bit. You were talking about the team charter and holding out a number of 1-0 results. That's where we cut off.
Yeah, apologies. So we've been able to obviously hold down a number of 1-0 results, but I think it comes down to, no doubt, the resilience of the group and the behaviours and values of what we'd expect from Western United Football Club players. The ability for us to actually hold on to those results, I think, comes down to the values and what we live on a day-to-day basis. And we're really hard to beat, and we've shown that this season that it's very difficult to concede goals against Western United Football Club, and we've really made it a really difficult, I guess, for our opponents to actually get back in the game once we obviously take a 1-0 lead. So that's something that's been new to what we've created this season under the guidance of John and our broader group, and John and Foxy have certainly added a great value in that sense. But we've got a group of players, and we've added some players with a fantastic amount of experience and a good balance of youth that we've seen, I guess, both players in both the youth and the senior level being able to adapt quite well to the new style of football that John has tried to implement at our club. But we've shown in recent weeks that we're not only a club that can hold on to 1-0 wins, we've been able to score a number of goals, and we're hopefully at some point not too far away from being comfortable winners. So I think from time to time we've shown that we're more than capable of scoring goals. And over the weekend, obviously against Brisbane Roar, we did score 5 goals. Unfortunately, 2 of them were ruled out for offside. But we're certainly hopefully going to be able to add something to that mix, understanding we've also had a number of players out through injury. So we've been really happy with the group thus far. We're really happy with where we're at this point in time, understanding we've got just 7 home and away games before final series football.
Yeah, and I think it's something it's very clear that culture and mentality is really at the forefront of players' minds. I mean, every player that we've had the privilege of speaking to, Josh, mentions that dressing room culture is such a big part of why they're so committed to Western United. And as someone like yourself, Mal, who's responsible for shaping that squad, it must be like a real double positive in the sense that it's lifting the team's performances now, but also looking ahead to the future in terms of keeping a squad together, adding new pieces into that squad as well. To be able to say you've got that mentality that people do genuinely want to buy into must be something that really, really helps you out.
Yeah, we're really proud of the squad that we've put together this year. We've made a number of changes over the course of the pre-season. We've turned over a few players this year, but we were strategic in our approach to do so. And the players that we did bring in were certainly ones that we thought of not only just as footballers, but as people. And would they buy into the culture and the values and behaviours that we're trying to create here at the club? And I think that's really important. And that's something that we've really focused on in respect to our recruitment, making sure not only we're bringing the right players, we've got to bring the right people. And I think that goes a long way because, in essence, you can have a talented squad of players, but if they're not buying into a strong culture that we're trying to create, I don't think it's going to work. And we've certainly been able to work on the other side of that and focus very heavily on our culture side of things. And it's fantastic to note that obviously the players that are coming in here are saying the exact same thing, which is great. Obviously, it's entrenched into their day-to-day operations and what they're thinking as well. So it's fantastic to know that obviously that's something that they've really noticed in the big change over the course of the last 24 months.
Yeah, and it's clear that you've hit the marks, I think, with a lot of those signings, and particularly the visa players. Obviously, we know how good of a season Leo has had so far. Rene's starting to feature regularly in that squad, and Prijovic, once he built up his fitness as well, has putting the goals away pretty regularly. How much credit do you take for the influence that those overseas signings have had on the team's performances this season, and how does the process of actually bringing them into this club in the first place go about?
Yeah, so you basically, at the end of the season, we and obviously now we've certainly been looking for next year and what our, I guess, where we need to add value in our squad. So at the end of last season, obviously with the changing coach, things do change a little as well. So with John coming in, he had a few views on what he thought we needed to do to obviously add to our squad. One of those things was to make sure that we added value to our squad with the foreigners that we do bring in. So we worked pretty hard on ensuring that the 3 that we did bring in Prijovic, Krin, and also Leo were players that were going to add value in areas that we thought we had some deficiencies. So we lost a number of players in that defensive half, and we replaced obviously Leo with players that were obviously moved on at the end of last season. And thus far, Leo has shown that for me, he's been one of the more consistent performers in the A-League this season. Not only is he a fantastic footballer, but a great person as well, which is important. And he lives and dies by the values and behaviours that we'd expect from a Western United footballer. And then you had Rene Krin, who's now starting to find his feet. He obviously had a challenging start in the initial stages. but he's really starting to find his feet now. He stood up in the absence of Neil Kilkenny over the course of the last few weeks. And Renee's really starting to obviously add some great value to us. And we know that what he's added thus far, he's still got another few levels to go until he gets to the best of what we'd expect from someone like Renee with the calibre and pedigree that he has. And then Alex is certainly finding his feet in the initial stages. Obviously, it took a bit of time to obviously come into the back end of our pre-season. He needed to find his feet in respect to his physical state, his ability to condition, and adapt to the new conditions of playing in the A-League men's competition. But you can really see the quality of Alex. He's a great finisher. He's one that we feel can add great value to us. And I think the fact that John and the broader group have been able to identify, I guess, these players, and they've worked quite well thus far, has been fantastic for our success this season. But not only just the foreigners, I think the others that we've added in, Nikolai Topor-Stanley has been remarkable for us, and Neil Kilkenny have also, fantastic acquisitions. And Ben Garuccio has been a fantastic player, but I think one player that's really added great value to us, it's almost like a new signing, was Josh Riston. And Josh has been fantastic for us this season. The fact that we didn't get much out of Josh last year due to his injury concerns, he's certainly been one that has added great value to us as well. So I think we've found a good balance of obviously new and fresh players that have come in and added great value to the existing squad that we've already had. And probably more importantly for us is not only just this season, but the ability for us to add 8 scholarship players through our academy program that really holds us in good stead, not only for this season, but for the next few years, and identifying the next crop of talent that are going to take us through to not only this season, but the next few.
I'm glad you brought that up, because it's a brilliant segue to talk about Adisu Bayu, who scored on the weekend. And I mean, when that goal goes in, does somebody pump their fist and tick off a KPI for their role this season? Is there a remit for how many scholarship players you need to get into the team, and you want to get on the score sheet or on the park?
Yeah, I think there was a few of us pumping our fists when Adisu hit the back of the net. Look, it's a great story. This was a product of our academy, but also a product of the Western catchment area of playing where he plays his football. He's played all his football. He's also lives in the area. So for us, it's been a great, real story for us to actually be able to elevate Adisu to a scholarship this season. And we're just delighted for the individual, the hard work that he's put in to get to this point, and hopefully you like to see that rewarded. And on the weekend, obviously, he started. He hit the back of the net, and we hopefully think that's great things for this one moving forward. And there's obviously a number of scholarship players that appear on our start list each week, and we're hoping that obviously those players get more and more game time over the course of the next few years. But that's something that's certainly part and parcel of bringing in Anthony Frost to continue to develop our academy system and produce players from our catchment area. And hopefully there's an opportunity for a number of other players to progress through our system and hopefully become first-team footballers for Western United Football Club in the long term.
Yeah, well, I think there certainly were plenty of fist bumps, Josh. Not least, and this wasn't for KPI reasons, but from media manager Lucy Jones as well, who's I know is a big proponent of Adisu Bayu when he's out there in the park. So,
I think we're card-carrying members of the Adisu fan club.
I feel like
as well.
most people are in a way. But
so fun to watch.
Now, obviously, we've spoken a lot about the culture in the senior team, and as you bring up, Anthony Frost and that academy side as well. Obviously you've got to focus on the senior side and what they're doing across the A-League men's season. But you've also got to try and instill that culture throughout the academy side too, and in the women's program as well. What is the key for you to getting that consistency of culture and approach across all of the teams you've got? He loves suspense, doesn't he?
Suspenseful Zoom delay. Here, he's back. He's back.
Really important for us. Sorry, gents, I'm not sure what's happening there.
All good. You just got us on tenor hooks. It's great.
Apologies. I think the consistency across all our programs is really important. I guess one of the key attributes of my job is to ensure that we can instill the team culture and values and behaviours across not only our men's program, but across all our programs. So Anthony Frost will come into that academy role, and he'll adopt the same principles and values and behaviours that we'd accept and expect from every employee across Western United Football Club. So that filters through to our academy, that filters through to our women's football department, And we want to make sure that there's a natural progression and consistency across all of our programs. So that team charter that we talk about and those values and behaviours that we talk about are something that we instill across all our programs. So across our academy, that's extremely important. So when there's a natural progression of players moving from our academy into our first team, the step up from academy to first team is hopefully not as big as what it is in Australian football at the moment. So we want to make sure we bridge that gap, and not only just about expectations and what we expect from people on the field, it's also what we expect from them off the field. So hopefully that's something that we can continue
to do. I feel like I should start preempting what I'll say.
We've started to finish each other's sentences. We've got to know Mal very well.
And hopefully over the course of the
next few years.
We're there, gents. Sorry about that.
Yes, we're back.
Good.
I think we got the gist of that. So last one from us, as we desperately hope that the Wi-Fi clings on, is how closely are you going to be paying attention to Calder United versus Box Hill this weekend, their first game of the NPLW season? We know about the partnership between Calder, an incredibly successful women's side at state level in Victoria and Western United. We know it's no secret that Western United are looking to expand the program and have a senior women's team before long. They're kicking off their season this Friday. I assume you'll be tuning in?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great opportunity for our girls to once again kick off their NPL season. We're delighted for them and what they've done in the NPL space over the course of a number of years now. This is really the platform for our Calder women to ultimately build I guess, what we believe to be a foundation of our A-League women's side. So it's a great opportunity for the girls that are involved in that program to really give their best in front of Mark Torcazo, the head coach there, to show that they're more than capable to take the next step, hopefully, into our A-League women's program. So we're quite delighted with the partnership with Calder. It's given us an opportunity to not only just broaden our base as a football club, to ensure that we make sure we're providing opportunities for both boys and girls, men's and women's. So hopefully this weekend is the start of another successful season for Calder and hopefully an opportunity for us to continue to broaden our base as a football club.
Well, they're playing against Box Hill United at Wembley Park this Friday night, 7:30 p.m. kickoff. And Lockie, we're both big proponents of visiting Wembley Park as an away trip. It's a good ground to watch football. They do sensational souvlaki, so no reason for Western United fans to avoid that one. Get down and support Calder.
Absolutely. The NPL women's competition will obviously start this weekend. Our Academy NPL 3 boys have had a fantastic start to their season. Both the 21s and the 23s have won both their first 2 games as well. So we'd encourage, obviously, everyone to go out and not only watch the NPL girls at Calder, but also the NPL boys this weekend, where they also play on Sunday against Melbourne City. So that'll be a fantastic game as well.
Well, that's sandwiched pretty nicely, the men's game, I should say, because we've got women's on Friday night at Box Hill. We've got the men playing in Ballarat against Central Coast Mariners. That's a 2 p.m. kickoff. And then, as you say, the juniors, the Academy side on Sunday. You could have a full Western United weekend.
To be a Western United fan, that's for sure.
No reason not to get to all 3, absolutely.
Actually, if we have Western United fans who make it to all 3 games, I think we should include them on the show next week. Just to
let us know.
Just to give us a recap of the entire weekend. 100%. This is a shout out to the Western United diehards. If you make it to all 3 games, and we expect photographic evidence, take a selfie at all 3 games, you get on the show. No questions asked. Can I make that executive decision?
I'm capable of that.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure Lucy will be fine with that. Mal, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Congratulations on the new regional football facility turning soil in Tarneit. That one's going to be done by next year, we hear.
Yeah, May 2023. So we're certainly looking forward to that. So the start of pre-season in 2023-24 will be in our new facility. So we're looking forward to that.
Western United will have a home to call its own. Exciting times, Lucky.
Lovely.
We'll take a short break. We've got Nikolai Topor-Stanley, the record-breaking A-League legend, joining us on the other side. So stick around here on The Green Room, presented by Simonds Homes.
Since 1998, Lanco Group has been providing superior civil engineering solutions and advice to developers, local government and service authorities across Australia. Lanco Group is known for delivering sustainable, efficient solutions. By working closely with clients, Lanco Group is able to meet the complex infrastructure requirements for residential, commercial and industrial developments on time, on budget. Find out more at lancogroup.com.au. Lanco Group, your business partner for engineering solutions.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants, and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website dkpco.com.au or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
Long throw, goalkeeper's come, hasn't got there. Harry Kewell, and then poked home by Tim Cahill. Australia have done it. 6 minutes to go, and it's a landmark moment for Australian football. Tim Cahill has scored the nation's first ever World Cup Finals goal.
You're listening to FNR, Football Nation Radio.
This great sporting nation who has yet to embrace fully the world's greatest game, and for so long of trying to have the game accepted. And when I'm up to the big football field in the sky, I just want people just to remember I told you so.
And suddenly the complexion of the game changes. Let's hope it doesn't, but this is the best period for Iran in the match.
Danger for Australia here, the flag's down. It's an equaliser.
You just feel for them, not just the boys, they are representative of so many people who make this game their life. It's just, I can't say anything, mate.
All right. Especially as they have the impetus. Aloisi, Cahill, Tim Cahill has done it again. What a goal by Tim Cahill. 2-1 Australia. Oh, it's a wonderful moment in Kaiserslautern. And Tim Cahill has come off the bench and maybe won the match for the Socceroos.
You're listening to FNR, Football Nation Radio.
Western United, can they find something here? Big chance, Berisha! He's done it again! And it's a goal! Unbelievable! What about this? Dylan Farias, his first touch of the game. Sanchez! Western United do claim the 3 points. And Diamante again! Oh, he's done it! Twice! He's chipped a keeper!
Presented by Simonds. It's the Green Room on FNR, Football Nation Radio.
We will have the milestone man joining us in a moment. Nikolai Topor-Stanley breaking an A-League record this weekend as the club take on Central Coast Mariners at Mars Stadium in Ballarat. You've spent a bit of time in Ballarat recently, Lockie.
I can't keep away from Ballarat. I was there yesterday. No, that's not even a joke. I was genuinely in Ballarat yesterday.
There you go.
I did the NPL Victoria on the weekend. I saw Western United play their previous game up in Ballarat last month. Great time. You can
Good away trip?
It's an excellent.
It's a home trip, I guess. But
it's an excellent home trip.
Home
for
away
me.
from home trip.
Yeah, it's a home away from home trip as well, actually. But you can go there. You can learn about a whole bunch of stuff, like the rich history of Ballarat, and you can watch football as well. Like there's no complaints.
You find any goals?
It's I'm just going to say as well, it's a great drive up to Ballarat. Like some people, like if you're in the west, it's not as long. It's probably only an hour, a little bit over an hour. If you live in South Yarra like me, it's an hour and 40 minutes. But the actual drive out to Ballarat, I don't know what the name of the freeway is, but it's beautiful. You come through a just lovely mountain range. You see Cryal Castle when you're on your way to Ballarat. It's great. It is a great day, And the football isn't half bad either.
We can't wait for it, especially when Western United are in this kind of goal-scoring form. A madcap 3-2 win over Brisbane Roar on the weekend. There's a red card, there's penalties, 2 disallowed goals. It was all happening.
Do you reckon 3-2 is the best scoreline in football? I reckon it's my favourite. I can't tell you why.
So. I think 4-3 starts to become a little bit shambolic, a little bit like, you know.
You get into like state of the league, like, oh, this is just too much.
No,
the defense is...
It's not that. It's usually there's an element of slapstick comedy when it gets to 4-3.
Right, yeah.
Whereas 3-2 really seems like the perfect football scoreline.
As Mal was telling us when we spoke to him before, but for those 2 disallowed goals, this game could have very easily ended 5-2.
Exactly. Alexander Prijovic scoring what proved to be the decisive strike on the 83-minute mark before a penalty from Jay O'Shea pulled one back for Brisbane. Early goals from Brisbane after 3 minutes.
Yeah, and that was...
But Adisu Bayo and a Scott Neville own goal putting Western United in the lead. So it was up and down all over the place. Jordan Holmes of Brisbane getting the red card, the goalkeeper. So it was quite an eventful match. What was your impression of it?
Well, I think it was a good test of character for Western United in many respects. Obviously, they've had plenty of come towards in this season, but to go behind so early in the way that they did, it was a bit of a defensive mix-up as Brisbane brought a pretty staunch press, which a lot of A-League sides in this in the comp don't tend to do it. So that was a huge difference. They were able to bring it back into a level game and then push ahead. And then once they're up to 3-1, they could sit a little bit easier. But the late penalty meant that even then they had to sort of defend against 5 or 7 minutes of pretty significant rearguard action as Raw tried to salvage a point. But credit to them, they were challenged in 2 different ways. Obviously the late penalty and the going behind early, and they passed both of those with flying colours. And it was a great game, not least because Alex Prijovic goal, sort of flicking the ball on over the top of the keeper with his back to goal. But
I love the backwards header.
It's great.
It's a great skill.
And it would have been my favourite goal, but for the fact that the other goal, or the other headed goal for the game, scored by Adisu Bayo. If it's Adisu scoring, it's got to be the best goal of the game.
We're biased. What can you say?
Well, yeah. But, a great 3 points away, and I think I can see them getting another 3 points against the Mariners. I think that one might have goals in it as well, actually.
What have you made of Rene Crahin's recent impact in the squad? Obviously, replacing Neil Kilkenny, who's a vitally important player in the team. We hadn't seen much of him early because he just hadn't played football in so long. Is he starting to prove his worth and the pedigree that we know he has?
I do. I think he's really gone from strength to strength. Like, I think, and the other thing that I've really liked about it all is it's clear how happy everyone at the club is to see him playing more and more. Like, I've asked John Aloisi personally a few questions about Rene as he's built up his match minutes from game to game, and you can see that he knows what kind of player he's got in his hands. And as those minutes build up, we're starting to see more and more of what that player actually is. And sitting in that base of midfield, we saw him drop into a centre-back role against Melbourne Victory, where they had a lot of defending work to do, and he looked very comfortable in that position. He's played there before, but the thing that stood out to me the most about Rene is that he tries a lot of things that I don't think your average A-League midfielder would bother with. Kind of in the way that, obviously Diamante, we know he's got an eye for a pass and does things that you don't necessarily expect. I think Rene is capable of doing that with not necessarily with the same amount of regularity, but he's certainly got it in his locker. I remember one of his first touches against the Newcastle Jets in Ballarat. The ball came back to him, and he did this chipping, like 30-yard pass that went backwards to the fullback. It was just like no one else on the pitch was thinking about it, but Rene was, and it was very impressive. Glad to see that he's coming into the fold, and he's, as Mal said, still got more to give.
You always know you're getting a bit of European experience and quality when you've got the sort of headband, long hair combination. I think that's like a classic of your Eastern European central midfielder.
That's the kind of player who, if I came up against him on a Sunday, if someone looked like that, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to get megged at least 3 times here today.
Well, speaking of players with pedigree and experience, we've got the record breaker here with us. He will make his 359th A-League appearance on the weekend against the Central Coast Mariners to become the most capped player in the A-League of all time. Nikolai Topor-Stanley, welcome to the Green Room.
Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure, mate. What does this milestone mean to you? Has it sunk in?
I mean, yes and no. Like I've been, I guess, it's been brought up a few times, especially since I made my 350th appearance those few weeks ago. But, I guess I've been taking it step by step and just kind of putting the team first and like performances first. We need 3 points. We want to finish as high as we can in the regular season, going and have having some good form going to finals. So obviously it feels nice to be, recognised and been shown some love, so to speak. But look, it's I've said it many a time. I play the game to win championships, and although individual accolades are, I guess nice and a bit of a pat on the back, it's not what I play the game for.
Well, I think that's the sort of mentality that's served you so well over all these years in the A-League. But surely when you think back to when you were starting out at Belconnen or Manly United, or even when you got your first crack with Sydney FC, you never expected to go this long and be this consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be lying to say if I did. I mean, I was never a precocious talent or earmarked for greatness. Like from a young age, I've always had to really work hard and earn and graft everything that I've ever, achieved. Yeah. So, look, it's been a long time, but it's gone very quickly. I can remember yesterday when I literally made my debut for Sydney, and it's kind of gone in a blink of an eye.
Your debut for Sydney, you say you remember it. Anything specific come back to you from that day? Any words of wisdom that you were given by more experienced players, or the feeling of walking out onto the pitch, anything like that?
I think I was just told to, be myself and relax into the game and not to, be too nervous, because they probably could see it on my face. But, having... I guess being in the position of a senior player now and seeing a lot of young boys go through it, it's there's a flood of emotions that's going on. That you're proud, you're worried, you're excited, there's all sorts of thoughts going into your head. So, but yeah, I mean, I remember it because it was a very proud moment for me and my family to play senior professional football in Australia.
Is there anything that you wish you knew then that you know now as a pro? Is there anything that you would pass on to a player making their debut, say like a Ben Collins, or, for example, at Western United?
Oh, look, there's plenty, but unless you've been through it, it doesn't really resonate.
Interesting.
Like you can speak, and pass on all the gems that you want to. Or the do's and don'ts and, just do this, just do that. But unless you have that experience under your belt, it doesn't really count. Because, at the end of the day, it is just words. And you really have to, have the trials and tribulations. You have to have come back from heartbreak. You have to experience the highs, all these things to, I guess, fully and capture what it means and what it means to the individual. So, but yeah, I mean, if I could go back knowing what I did now, I'm sure I'd be far better off for it.
Well, you described yourself as a player who's had to work really hard to, enjoy the amount of time, playing the game and being across all these different A-League clubs that you have. In terms of getting that longevity and being able to put out as many games, one of the things, and I'm going to ask you another question about him later, but that Andrew Durante mentioned when he talked about his ability to pump out games in multiple seasons was how much of a focus he put into hard work, not just on the pitch, but also off the pitch in terms of looking after his body and doing all those kind of extra 1%ers to maximize your chance of being available for the next game. Is that something it's been a part of your playing career as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's, I get told all the time that, you finish football training and, you come out of there at 12:30 or whatever time it is, depending on what club. Sometimes you finish earlier than that. I used to eat lunch in Newcastle at about 11:30. That was nice. But, the day doesn't stop there. You're always thinking, okay, should or shouldn't I do this? What should I be putting in my mouth? How much sleep I should be getting? Should I be out in the sun for too long? You don't have to think about it, but I realised that if you don't, you get yourself in trouble, and you kind of connect the dots when you're not feeling great for training the next day, and you're like, oh, well, yeah, I was at the beach for 2 hours in 32-degree weather, and I got a bit of sunstruck. But there's just these things that you have to think about that that make a difference on the training field, whether you are at your best or not. And I guess I made myself a promise that I would do everything I could to be the best that I could every day, and not just come the weekend. And I think obviously it's not, you don't get it right 100% of the time, and there's never a perfect recipe, but that slight increase in awareness has held me in good stead.
Have you become more in tune with your body and knowing when you have a bit of a niggle, or knowing when you need to push yourself harder and so forth? Over the years, have you become more aware of what you need to prepare for a game?
Yeah, definitely. That comes with experience and knowing, training loads and the way a season's going to pan out. And, you've seen things before and you go, okay, well, I should be doing this or I shouldn't be. But, I've also studied sports and exercise science, and I'm actually doing my master's now in strength and conditioning. So
wow,
that's given me a lot of, background knowledge and info to, serve me well. And yeah, it's kind of given me a appreciation of all the planning and things that go into training, that it's not just by chance that we're doing certain things, and why I'm doing certain exercises and why I should be doing them a certain way. Where, before I studied, it was, you often question yourself, or you go through the motions. You're not going through the motions, you're still doing it, but there's a different emphasis now that I know the theory behind what we're doing.
That's really interesting. I guess you take the reminders from the sort of strength and conditioning stuff a bit more seriously when you know why they're insisting upon, and you actually understand the science behind why you need to do this session with the foam roller, or why you need to take the ice bath, etc., and so on.
Yeah, exactly. It could be the difference between staying in the ice bath for 10 minutes or 8 minutes. It's a lot of people go, oh, I'm out at 5, and I'm like, well, according to so-and-so, you should be in here for 10.
According to page 359.
Right. So, and whether that makes, the difference to the individual or not. But, that's just one example of many that I can, I could rattle off that, what in theory is supposed to be best practice, I'm trying to, model myself, and hopefully I can pass that on to other younger players, that, it's not just the coach telling you, it's also a senior player.
I'm from listening to you, Nikolai, it sounds like you're a big fan of the concept of marginal gains and doing all those little 1% things. And obviously I think with all of those, the regularity with which you've played games this season, I think there's still more football to come for you in the next few seasons. But with that degree and potentially the Masters, is it something that you've taken on board just to assist your development and longevity as a player, or is it something, that exercise and sports science, that you'd maybe want to lean a bit more into post playing days?
Yeah, it was, I guess the reason why I took it up in the first place was, okay, I saw the advantage of, actually having some formal knowledge instead of just what you think and also I thought, okay, this might be a future into how to stay into sport, and because obviously I've been involved in my whole life, and that could be a future proposition for me. But as I said, I still feel great. That the mind, more importantly, also feels good, because often, that can be also a factor that people just don't have the willingness to put themselves through, sacrifice physically and mentally away from families and, all the things that come with professional sport. They don't want to do a whole nother round of it. So, we'll see what the future holds there.
Well, it's interesting that you bring up that mental side of things, because we've spoken a lot on this program about the strength of the Western United dressing room. Is that something that, that mental toughness and stability, is that something you think as you stepped into this new dressing room environment is sort of consistent amongst the playing squad this season? How have you found your involvement in all of that?
Oh, look, it's also easy to point to that when we're getting results, right? I think, but we do have seasoned campaigners that know how to win games. Neil Kilkenny is one, but the coaching staff also brought in a no excuse mentality from day one. It's, there wasn't a, where it's as a building year, it's where we're here to achieve, and that's not a promise of achieving, but it's a promise to commit to excellence. And, they certainly don't, they drive a hard bargain, put it that way. They're not letting up whether we win or lose. It's always looking for the finest of margins to get better, win or lose, which, in my time, I've seen people do that well, and I've seen people not do that not so well. And if you can, stay at a consistent level of, pushing the group, but not too far, most people respond well to that.
You described yourself earlier as a player who wasn't tipped for greatness, and you sort of had to scrap and claw for everything that you've achieved in your career. Were there specific knocks on your game, certain sort of myths you had to dispel through your performances? Were there perceptions that you had to challenge of who you were as a player and your limitations?
Yeah, all the time. I mean, I still get people telling me how surprised that I actually can run. Not just fast, just run. They're like, oh, you're still running, you're still playing. Look, but I guess that's part of sport, right? Like I'm thick-skinned enough to know that, even the best of players are going to have their critics, right? So I'm not immune, and that's part of the game. When you're younger, you, take it more to heart, and you want to prove them wrong, and it could be just one person, but that one person sticks out in the room, right? Because no one likes negative feedback. But I guess the older I've got, the less I've put importance of, and not to sound harsh, but, opinion of others that doesn't really matter to me. That's, you want to be, liked, and but I know really what counts is my teammates' opinion, my coaches, and my family. And that's what I take to heart, that, if my son's not happy that I didn't pick up from school, I'm more concerned about that than, any negative feedback from outside sources. Or that's, I don't mean to sound arrogant or rude about that, but I've kind of, just got to a stage where that's, I can tune that out a little bit better.
Well, you haven't really concerned yourself with, arguing with the haters, so to speak. But if it does come up again that you can't, the myth that you can't run, I think you should just show them the clip of that marauding assist in Tasmania for Alex Prijovic, was it? Went on a little adventure from centre back.
Yeah. I'm glad I could chip in for, an assist for the big man, and he's doing well, putting him in the back of the net. So long may that continue.
Have I just stolen your question?
No. You've triggered a light bulb moment for me. I can't believe I didn't even think of this before. But speaking of free flowing running, Nikolai, when you scored a few weeks ago, we saw you some very elegant strides in the goal celebration, launching a nice delivery with the cricket ball. Was that planned? Was that a thing that came over you? Take us through it.
Yeah, it was absolutely no planning involved. It was just pure emotion, and then it came out in fast bowl. So
very fast bowl from the look of things.
What can I say? I mean, yeah, look, I was excited to score a goal in an important match in a Melbourne derby, and yeah, I mean, I guess that it's just a reflection of how excited I was. I can't tell you much more. I mean, there was. I think I said after the game, I didn't know what to do with my hands. So that's pretty true.
It's a problem that football players often face.
Yeah.
What do you do with those hands? Did you play cricket growing up? Was that something that just came to you in the moment? Or?
Never played competitively, but down the nets with friends and socially at school, things like that. But yeah, I honestly can't tell you why I did it.
I feel like it speaks to like the cultural psyche of the average Australian, that as I saw you running in, you like changed your gait ever so slightly. It wasn't by much. And even before you'd actually done it, I remember sitting in the stands looking at you and going, is he about to like bowl a cricket ball right here? Like, is that what we're going to see? And sure enough, we got the delivery as well.
Everyone in the stands just reflexively checking whether they were wearing their pads.
Well, at least you can say it wasn't boring. So.
Absolutely.
Sure.
No, we won't be forgetting that one in a hurry.
Absolutely, for sure. You talk about, how the work that you've put in and shutting out that external noise. It seems like you're maybe someone who leads by example. Obviously, we've seen you throw on the captain's armband a few times this season, not least at the weekend against Brisbane. Is that the way your leadership style works with the playing group as well, just sort of showing them how best to do it by just going out and doing it yourself?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think there's no better way of I guess setting an example, right, by your own actions, because I can talk as much as I want, but if I'm not living up to my own expectations, it's a bit see-through. So yeah, I mean, I want to walk the walk, right? And if players around me can see that at the young old age of 37 that I've still got the pace bowl in me, and I've still got the excitement, and I've still got the, I guess, willingness to push myself every day, then hopefully that rubs off a little bit.
Looking ahead to this weekend's game, you'll have a prickly customer to mark in Jason Cummings. Marco Arena as well, quite an intelligent player who drops between the lines. That's a strike duo that I imagine you'll have prepared for quite thoroughly.
Yeah, I mean, I think the longer you go in the game, the less you give importance to individuals, and clearly they've got ability in those two individuals, but they've also got a lot of attacking threats and strengths and weaknesses in other areas. But, we don't get too bogged down in that. We give them the respect they deserve, but we'll also give them as much problems as they cause us. So, there are minor details that might, change here and there according to who you're playing, but the vast majority of preparation tactics, stays the same. Without going into explaining those details in public, it's I guess it sounds like a bit of a cliche, but it is what it is. It's it's about repetition of the basics that we do well, and I think that's reflective in our performances, and in holding a bit steadfast this year.
The wisdom that comes with 358 A-League games, something else. Jason Cummings, we know he tends to yap a little bit. He's got the gift of the gab. He's even got a mouth tattooed on his hand. Do you participate in that kind of stuff at all? Speaking of cricket, is there a bit of sledging behind play, or are you just not interested?
A younger me would get a little bit caught up in it, and especially if it was a Dylan Wenzel-Halls, playing against him. He's got a lot to say. So, but I mean, now I kind of laugh it off, and I don't take it too seriously. And but I guess we'll see. You know, it'll if he does, it won't be boring. So that'll be fun.
Well, you have to understand him first, which will be the challenge, you know.
It is. As someone who's got Scottish relatives, I can tell you it's a battle. It's a battle.
Well, yeah, I've been coached by someone who had the thick Scottish accent, and our CEO even thicker. So, you know, I've got a little bit of experience.
Nice. I'm very much looking forward to this game. Your teammates and the club will, I bet, have something prepared pre-match. But knowing you, one of the most down-to-earth characters in the league, you'll just be thinking about the 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, it's that's really all I'm thinking about. And yeah, it'll be nice to be acknowledged, and you know, I'm not sure what they're planning, but I know I'll be on the pitch afterwards with my kids and my wife. So, yeah, I mean, whatever it is, I'm sure it'll be nice, and I'll be touching regardless of the result. But yeah, for me, performance comes first, and it'll be even sweeter with 3 points.
Well, I have it on pretty reliable authority. There's a very big congratulations on your 359th game card that's been ordered from Hallmark. The whole team's going to sign it. So hopefully you're looking forward to receiving that one along with the 3 points on the weekend.
Nikolai, thank you so much for making the time to join us here on the Green Room. It's been fascinating for you to share your insights with us, and a lot of fun to learn about your fast bowling as well.
Cheers, guys.
And that'll do us for the Green Room tonight, presented by Simonds Homes here on FNR Football Nation Radio. Get up to Mars Stadium on the weekend.
Yeah.
Lockie's recommended the drive. It's a fun one.
It's a great one. I really enjoy going to Ballarat, and I might have the little sojourn. I mean, it's back-to-back Ballarat as well, so that's the beauty of it.
Well, the full Western United weekend is on offer. We spoke about it earlier. Calder playing on the Friday, Western United senior men on the Saturday, and then the MPL3 Academy side on the Sunday. So the offer stands. If you can make it to all 3 fixtures and send us photographic proof that you were there, I want a selfie at each of the grounds, then
you can be standing in front of this very microphone. I'll be booted out. Josh can stay.
We'll kick Lockie out and you can co-host the show next to it. No, we'll get you on as a guest. That offer stands if anyone is mad enough to do that. But we would love to see it. A big thank you to our guests, Mal Impiombato and, of course, Nikolai Topor-Stanley. If you missed any of that, you can catch it on the FNR podcast platforms. But from us, until next week, it is goodbye for now. Presented by Simonds. It's the Green Room on FNR, Football Nation Radio.